Hello, welcome to Real Talk. This week we're speaking with Professor Jon Tibbs, founder and consultant at Jon Tibbs Associates. He's a brand building consultant in sports. He's been with us this whole week, giving us grand information and knowledge into brand building in sports and PR and media relations. Welcome, Professor Tibbs.
Hi, lady. How are you?
Fine, thank you. It's been a roller coaster of knowledge, being exposed to brand making this week. Thank you very much for being with us.
A roller coaster. That implies that it went down. So
Not roller coaster, but it's been really exciting and
it was a climb to Mount Everest. I hope.
it
Going
is.
up all the way.
We've been really exposed to a lot of knowledge. Thank you very much.
There's a lot to learn.
So I know we've talked about this much in class, but how important is it for sports organizations to see themselves as brands and to try to build their brands as such?
It's really important. If you think about the purpose of a brand is designed to attract people, to bring people in, to try something, to come back, to do it again, and then stay with it and be loyal to it. So sports organizations, sports clubs, federations, international federations, national Olympic committees, all these type of organizations are trying to attract people, sponsors, athletes. They're trying to make these people be more loyal to them. And therefore, if they behave like a brand and act like a brand in a way that they're trying to attract people and keep them loyal, then they will be achieving their objectives. And that's what we try and do in sport.
And your work, you've been knighted recently by the Queen for tremendous work in brand management. How did that make you feel when you got the OBE?
Well, I have to correct you, that's not a knighthood. An OBE is a couple of levels below a knighthood. So an OBE is an award that people get for public service duty, and I got an award for helping British companies win export business in sport. So it's beyond the work I do at JTA. This is additional work I do at no charge, where I help the government help British companies win export in markets such as Nigeria or Russia or all over the world. And that's what it was for. And it's a huge honor. I'm very, very proud.
Some of the criticism of your work has been that you, especially looking at the European Games in Baku, going to a country where a pseudo democracy, an authoritarian government, how you were able to help them win the games and run the PR for them. There was a blog post that said your work helped them to paint over their human rights crisis. How do you manage to work with the criticism of our ethics of sports brand building?
I work very comfortably in all the work I do, because all the work I do is extremely helpful to every country, every city, every client we work for. So the situation in Baku is very straightforward. We were appointed to handle the public relations for the first ever European Games in Baku. We were not appointed to handle the PR for the president and his family. Obviously, a lot of media used the information that the games were happening in Azerbaijan to criticize the human rights record in Azerbaijan. We just made a point of saying, well, if you are going to talk about the human rights, you are already showing the value of having the games in Azerbaijan. You are using the games to talk about the human rights. So opening up Azerbaijan, making it more transparent, more accountable, was one of the benefits of having the games there, bringing media in. So we're really proud that we have actually improved the situation in Azerbaijan, not covered it up.
How can sport, as you've been working in sports branding for several years, what's the power of sport to help brand destinations? Is it something that you actively work on, helping using sport as to brand countries, to brand cities?
Yes, it's called the soft power of sport. Many governments and municipalities are really keen to use sport as a way of hosting major sporting events to showcase their city, their country, to a wider audience, a wider international audience. It's good for potential tourism and new visitors coming in. It's good for the conference and exhibition industry where people are looking for new destinations. It's good for inward investment, companies looking to come in and perhaps be and come in and set up their business in these markets. And sometimes hosting major sports events that are seen around the world is a great way of boosting all these factors.
My final question, as we run out of time, is
We have a little bit longer if you want.
okay. In the sports branding business, we are here in the university as young sports managers of the future. What details are you looking for when you hire a new staff? What do you look out for?
Well, in my area, which is communications and public relations, I'm looking for people who are bright, smart people, obviously, but also people who are curious. They have a curiosity to sort of see what's going on in the world. And they also are proactive. They get it. They don't wait to be pushed. They know that if they go and suggest something in advance of being asked, that they are already ahead of the curve. So someone who's proactive, someone who's curious, someone who's smart.
I read one of your interviews with, was it around the games, and you also talked about being innovative. You talked about the 3 I's for hiring. Is it still one of the important things you look for?
Can you remember what the 3 I's are?
Um,
So I can't.
okay. Let's look at innovative. I know I remember innovative, but maybe I should come closer home when Russia is going to host the World Cup next year. Are you still working with the Russian Football Federation?
No,
I mean,
not at the moment. We're not working with the Russians right now on FIFA World Cup, but we have done some work with them, and it was very rewarding because this is a football mad nation. It's 142-3 million people here. They love their football here. They've never had the FIFA World Cup before. And this is an opportunity to really take FIFA World Cup to a whole new market, the biggest country geographically on the planet, and spread out across a whole range of different parts of Russia with different ethnicities and cultures. And it's going to be a wonderful experience. And I know a lot of people that are football fans, friends of mine around the world, who can't wait to come to Russia for the first time ever, and it's FIFA World Cup that will bring them here.
But the criticism has been about, or the headlines about Russian sport has been about doping in sport, from the backlash from the Sochi 2014 Olympic Games, which you helped participate in terms of communications and branding. Do you think Russia is able to handle the criticism ahead of, or how should they handle it as we lead up to the Confederations Cup this year and World Cup next year?
I think Russia is perfectly able to handle it. They have been used to dealing with heavy criticism for a long time now, and this is not new to them to receive it. I think that they are working hard to get their house in order. There is a new RUSADA, anti-doping agency for Russia, set up. They're trying hard to be WADA compliant, and by the time the FIFA World Cup happens next year, I'm sure they will be WADA compliant, and the conversation will be much more positive, if you like, on that side of things. They have a number of other problems that they're working on as well, which they're dealing with. And the FIFA World Cup is a great opportunity for Russia to get its house in order and to begin to, instead of following the world, try and lead the world when it comes to best practice in sport.
You've been teaching this week at the Russia International Olympic University, a legacy of the 2014 Winter Games. Do you enjoy your teaching here, and what do you think should be, the university is already in its 5th year, the next plan for it to move to the next level?
I really enjoy my time here. I was lucky enough in 2005 to be appointed to work on the Sochi 2014 bid. In 2007, I was lucky enough to be in Guatemala when President Putin led the presentation for them to win the Games for 2014. I was lucky enough to then work for the next 7 years on the preparation of the Games and then the Games itself, handling communications. And now I'm lucky enough to work on a legacy of the Games, working with you guys in a huge, great legacy project, the first of its kind. And I think that this can go on from strength to strength and become a good example, almost a best world-class example of how to run a legacy project, an academic legacy project from a major sporting event.
Thank you very much, Professor Tibbs, for your time. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.